No. We continue from page 36, inward sin. They would then increase in power and strength, and the enemies. Okay, so in summary, all the problems and afflictions that Muslims are suffering from today stem from this great danger. If it were not for this danger, their hearts would overflow with sincerity and goodwill, and then trust and confidence would spread amongst them. If that were then achieved, they would then be able to work together and get things done in the fastest and easiest way possible. They would then increase in power and strength, and the enemy's hearts would become filled with fear. Their dignity that was stripped from them will be returned to them, and they will reclaim their sublime position over this earth. However, when their hearts are devoted to this worldly life and its temptations, such as wealth, rank, position, and various desires, competition becomes widespread among them or amongst them, and they become selfish. Grudges and malice take over their hearts, and they look at one another with envy and scorn. Whatever mutual trust they had is erased and is replaced with suspicion. The enemy then discovers these painful maladies and afflictions amongst them, and thus focuses on them and exploits them in order to destroy them as quickly as possible. Exploits them and in order to destroy them as quickly as possible. As for any concern for Islam, the Islamic call and drawing up plans and ideas for that purpose, none of it will move someone who is still or rectify someone who is corrupt, and even an arrogant person can see right through it. Unfortunately, however, it could mislead gullible youth. The tender flames of Islam are kindled within them, and they have fresh ideas. They hardly see an outward aspect of concern for Islam or hear embellished words about it, except they are flung into a sense of enthusiasm and sincerity to strive, work, and struggle as much as they are able to. If Allah has mercy upon us for some reason, it is by virtue of these people. If there is some barrier between us and Allah's wrath and hastened punishment, it is the sincerity of these people. They are young people using their wonderful youth to please Allah and strive on His path, which is surrounded by all kinds of temptations and desires. They have confirmed His promise and believed in His threat, and they have hung their hopes on His pleasure. We thus call on you, who inspires goodness and turns over the hearts. Cleanse these hearts of ours of every attribute that takes us away from witnessing you, loving you, and clinging to your religion. Gather our hearts upon striving for your pleasure. Raise your slaves whom you have put in the position of calling to you to the level of this sublime honor. Increase them in sincerity, truthfulness, and self-sacrifice, and let them match the good opinion of these virtues you. You hear all supplications. This is the remedy. Before I tell you about it, I need to ask you something. Do you know the problem, and are you truly aware of the malady and its diagnosis? I say this because understanding the problem is equivalent to being halfway towards solving and affirming that the reality of the malady is half. If you do not believe what I have said, and you doubt that the underlying factor behind our tribulation, however it manifests itself, is this great danger that I have explained. Prescribing the remedy is of no benefit because the incentives for using it are absent. On the other hand, if my words have settled in your soul and you are certain about this is the secret behind everything that we complain about, you will pay close attention to what I am saying, and as long as you are sincere with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your Islam, you will try to use this remedy as much as you are able to, and you will call people to it and remind them of it. It will be easy for you to have certainty that this is the remedy for which there is no alternative, and you will assert that all Muslims, regardless of class or rank, are in constant need of using it and benefiting from it. I prescribe it for myself first, and then I remind whoever from the Muslims want to be reminded. I ask him, subhanahu wa ta'ala, to make us amongst those who urge one another to the truth and urge one another to steadfastness therein. As a student sits in an exam room, totally absorbed in answering the questions,
الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والجنة للموحدين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق والمرسلين نبينا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. All praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the choicest of blessings and salutations upon our Master Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Dr. Muhammad Sa'id Ramadan al-Bhuti, author, just by the way he writes and the concern with which he pens his concerns and his worry, speaks to you and I with regards to the state of his heart. He was someone that had care for the Ummah. He was someone that had concern for the Ummah. He was someone that was focused on the betterment of the Ummah. And even though this is something that I have touched on previously, and I made reference to the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that Rasul ﷺ said, the parable of believers, في تواضعهم وتراحمهم, in the love that they show each other and the mercy that they show each other, كمثل الجسد الواحد, they are like one body. Rasul ﷺ said, إذا اشتكى عضو منها, if one body part experiences pain, the entire body responds بالحمى, with fever, and sahar, sleeplessness. Now, nobody says my tooth is paining, it's my tooth's problem, I'm going to sleep. Or my ear is infected, I say that's my ear's problem, I'm not going to be bothered about my ear, I'm going to sleep. And the ear pains, it troubles my whole body. So I break out with fever on account of infection and I can't sleep at night. And our Shaykh Habib Muhammad bin Abdurragman al-Saqafi has a treatise on this hadith, expounding upon its meanings. Like some amazing things he has to share over there. He said Rasul Sallallahu used the example of a body, and the body consists of various organs and parts. Right? The body has a head, and the body has a brain, and the body has a heart, and the body has a soul. And he says who plays different roles within the human body. If I remember correctly, he said the intellect of the human body is the ulama. He said the ruh of the human body is the Ahlul Bayt. Among other amazing meanings that he mentioned there, but the point is, in the treatise of his, he says that what you and I should be worrying about is that when Muslims are suffering around the globe, and now not Muslims suffering, Islam is suffering. There's the degeneration of Islam and Muslims. Even Manab al-Hassan Ali al-Nadwi speaks about this in Islam in the world. ماذا خسر العالم الإسلامي بانحطاط المسلمين. He speaks about the degeneration of Muslims and how to fix the world. Right? Islam in the world is that I don't know if anyone read Islam in the world. One of the very important books you should read in your life is Islam in the world. I think that's the English translation, but the actual book in Arabic was ماذا خسر العالم. What has the world lost when Muslims degenerate? Because they lost everything. Because they can only be good in this world as long as Islam and his teachings are present. So he has a concern. Habib Muhammad said in his Risala, that if your Muslims are suffering around the world and yet you're sleeping like a baby, you don't carry any worry and concern in your heart, he said, perhaps you're not strong. Perhaps you're not from them. Because if you're from them, you're supposed to be experiencing fever and you're supposed to be awake at night. Allah places in our heart concern for Muslims. And I just think about that. If I truly have worry and concern for Muslims, then I'm going to think bigger. And I'm going to let petty things go. Right? That's supposed to happen. But even if I'm thinking bigger, even if I'm worried about today, people think that the answer to the solution of humanity is the establishing of an Islamic state, or an Islamic Khilafah, or we must become the rulers of the country. If we are not the rulers of the country, no one survive. All of that is, it may have some truth to it, but it's not the answer. The answer is not taking over, the answer is not the caliphate, the answer is the reflection of families, societies changing. You have when the French and then the British took over Egypt. I don't know how many years it was, I don't know what year, right? But there was a time when they took over Egypt. Not too long ago, of course, when colonization was done. So you had the people of Cairo, their allegiance was to the ulama. So despite the West, in the form of France and Britain, entering Egypt, taking over Egypt, they couldn't influence people. They were the rulers, but Islam was prevalent. Islam was practiced, the spirit of Islam, the etiquette of Islam, masajid of all, class of knowledge continued. Why? Because it didn't matter all the rules were, people were driven to do it. People were driven to be good Muslims. And ultimately what actually happened was is the people, their allegiance was not to the government, their allegiance was to the Al-Azhar. And it's actually a very sad story. And it shows you how shrewd the enemies of Islam can be. So when they saw that, we're getting absolutely nowhere, we're bringing in Western ideas and Western ideologies and marketplaces, the Western marketplace and what have you, but these people are not buying into the West. They are following the ulama. They're following the Azhar in particular. Dr. Booth himself speaks about this in his Kubra al-Yaqiniya. In his Kubra al-Yaqiniya, I think what I'm sharing now, he speaks about this. So he said what they decided was they said that since people's allegiance is to the ulama, especially to the Azhar in Egypt, we need to infiltrate the Azhar. So so the ulama, they used to appoint leaders among themselves and teachers among themselves. They said, no, we're going to appoint. Then they got some scholars that were trained in the West, and they